Hi, this is Devoshmita and I warmly welcome you back to my channel. So for my basic introduction, I scored 98.8% in my cbse class 12 boards as a humanities student, and I had the following subjects: English, Bengali, history, geography, political science, psychology. Yeah, right now I'm pursuing BA History Honours from Miranda House, Delhi University. So your board exams begin in precisely 7 days, 1 week. And this is the high time to actually start revising if you haven't already. I mean, what else were you doing all year? Anyway, jokes aside, but here I am, trying to put the best advice before you so that you do not have to face a same scenario like I did a year back. So the story somewhat goes like I had officially proclaimed my first day of board exam to be the worst day ever. If you haven't watched this video, yeah, it was 24th of February, my first board exam of class 12, geography exam. Having your first exam as geography, or even if you're not having, whatever paper you're having, please listen to me. And if you're a girl, please, it's a girl to girl talk, listen to me. Boys also, you should listen to me. I did not know that CBSE is so strict. So from class nursery to 10, I had been in an ICSE medium school. But then I was like, yeah, mujhe to CUET karna hai, I have to get into Miranda House, and so I must be studying the kind of the same curriculum as CUET needs me to study. So yeah, CBSE, NCRT. And I'll once again say that NCRT is your god, your religion, your cult, your everything for this last 1.5 months. Consume it with your breakfast, with your dinner, with your snacks, with your lunch. The pressure was immense, and the pressure was stemming from within myself. Like, I have to get 100. What do you mean? I have to. Okay, I have this saying that I have to revise A to Z, like from the first chapter to the last chapter, and there are 2 books, so it was like I have to revise everything the day before the exam. And exam hall mein jate tak, I will have to be done with everything. And by the time you reach the exam center, you must be done with your most final, ultimate revision of the entire thing. Even if it's like you have revised everything multiple number of times, you might feel ki bhai last mein to maine ye nahi dekha. So you might feel a bit anxious, like I did. Okay. So I didn't know that CBSE teachers and rules and regulations are so strict, because in ICSE your board exams are conducted in your home center, and in CBSE it gets conducted in some other school, in some other place which you don't even know existed. Just know the exact location and how to go, how to navigate your way, and also whoever is accompanying you, where they will stay throughout the 3 hours that you'll be writing your paper. Wahan pe, get those things sorted at least 2 to 3 days prior to your exam. And I'm unable to eat anything the day before the exam and the day of my exam until the exam is done. Okay, but try not to do that. Okay, because you will feel even more sick, which is something I realize right now that I'm in college and I don't have my mother with me. I realize that back then I used to have my mother with me all the time, so I would not realize it because I would always have a moral support with me. Home center, we used to be so casual about it. इस room में बैठ के we are chit chatting and we are revising, और फिर निकल के बस next वाले room में जाके we sit and write the exam. And in this scenario, in this new scenario, I was not allowed to carry my anything other than my writing board, which has to be transparent, my admit card, my transparent pencil box या तो pouch, and my transparent bottle. Okay, other than that I'm not allowed to carry anything. And when you will be entering the school, through the school gate, they will be doing a very thorough checking of you. Okay, so brace yourselves for that. I was done with revising all the chapters except the last chapter, and that was India Straight wala chapter. I was like, okay fine, मैं तो ये अंदर जाके मैं hall में घुसने के पहले रिवाइज कर लूंगी, because in my mind I was accustomed to that ICSE वाला environment कि हाँ मतलब इस रूम में रख के मैं उस रूम में जाके एग्जाम दे दूंगी. But it doesn't work in CBSE. So I was on my way to take my book in through the gate, and then the guard was like, ये बाहर रख दो. So I was telling my mother कि ये मुझे ले जाने नहीं देंगे. And then they were जल्दी करो, टाइम हो रहा है. And I was also not, I did not know that they were strict with the timings as well. Okay, it's like you were supposed to enter 30 minutes before the exam starts. Okay, but I was like, भाई ICSE में तो हम तो कभी भी enter कर जाते, कुछ भी नहीं बोलते हमें. Very panicking because मेरा revision complete नहीं हुआ था, last वाला chapter बाकी था. And on top of that, this security guard वाला person starts doing like this, somehow going through the pages, and I know I'm not processing anything, I'm not revising anything. It's just a futile attempt. Take my water bottle, which was a still bottle by the way, and it was having warm water because winter wasn't yet gone. I have to drink a lot of water because I have some problems. Jo was like, she saw me revising and she was like, पूरा साल पढ़ाई नहीं किया, अब जाके पढ़ाई कर रहे हो. I might answer back my parents sometimes, but I do not answer back to people like teachers and professors. बाहर वाले लोगों को भी answer back करना start किया है मैंने दिल्ली में आने के बाद, but teachers and professors, ना, because I know they can ruin your entire career. I was silent. Okay, she was telling this and she was checking my body. So there was this file in which I was carrying the admit card, and there was some kind of sleep wherein I was supposed to write my name, and it was empty. The teacher was like, take it out, and she was being so rude for no reason. I threw it in the dustbin, and then didn't go into the dustbin. It fell right outside the dustbin, and she was like, throw it properly. And yeah, and at that point I got very angry because I'm going to write my first board exam paper, and first of all you are telling me कि पूरा साल पढ़ाई नहीं किया, अब जाके पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, and then you are also shouting at me because गलती से वो पेपर डस्टबिन के बाहर गिर गया. And you can see that there are wrappers of chocolates, of erasers, of pencils, all lying outside. I had an outburst, and the outburst was like, I picked up that sleep and I threw it in, and whatever was lying there, I picked those up and I started putting them into the dustbin one by one. And she was like, you don't have to do that. And I said, no ma'am, it's okay, I'll do that. Then she is like, you cannot carry this bottle. And by then I had lost all the patience I had in myself. I had given up. I was like, मुझे exam भी नहीं देना, मुझे घर चले जाना है. So I took the still bottle and I threw it on the ground. My mother was standing at the gate. And then I started walking on towards, the exam hall. Shaking from the panic which she had set in me. Like, you can be a bit considerate, right? But people will not be. But my mother was there, protesting for me, fighting for me, telling everybody that, just because a student is revising outside that gate doesn't mean that she hasn't studied anything all throughout the year. And that teacher was making her even more anxious. So I was shaking all the way. I even forgot the classroom number, whatever was written on the board outside the gate. But anyway, I saw my classmates and then I started writing my name and I messed it up. All the letters went outside that box because I was shaking. My fingers were shaking. And I knew I had to drink water, but I did not have water. So I asked the guy who was sitting behind me and I asked him for water and then I drank water because I knew that for the next 3 hours I'm not going to get water. These are the mistakes which I made. Halfway into the exam, it's like it had been just 1 hour or something. And then I felt like I had got my periods. Like, how worse could the day get? Feeling sick from within. But I was like, I have to write this paper and I have to go. On top of that, I got confused in one MCQ. Not follow the trick of writing all the answers first and then जिसमें doubt है वो वाला फिर से एक option वाला लिखना. So yeah, you should avoid this mistake as well. If you're confused in any MCQ, you are having 20 MCQs, write 1 to 20 all the answers which you feel are right. And if you're having a doubt in the 5th one, after 20, write 5 once again and write the other option which you want to. And then I was praying to God that please do not give me any question from the last chapter which I could not revise properly. Even if you're giving me a question, please give me an alternative with that if it's a long question. There was a question from that chapter. And out of the all the questions, it was the only question, number 3, which did not have an alternative to choose from. As the icing on the cake, I could not even remember what exactly was mentioned. The question was about India's import trade, the trends and all. And all I could remember was about export trade. Doing everything I could to recall. It was on this page, it was on this side of the page. Yeah, there was this chart, there was this photo. Yeah, kuch to likha hua tha. Yeah, I remember the basic thing. This was the basic conclusion of it. So I prepared a nice intro. So do this thing. If at all you come across a question which you have studied but somehow you cannot remember, because there are concepts like this, like import and export and other stuffs, in which it happens that you try to remember the other by studying one only, and you get asked the other, but you know only the one properly. So in these cases, write your introduction well. Import trade, okay, write about India's trade, the trends in India's trade overall. It was a negative trend because there was more import than export. I added a few more lines. I tried to recall data about the commodities which were being traded. Was not entirely correct, but they were not entirely wrong either. For 5 marks, you are trying to write 6 to 7 points. So even if you write 1-2 point wrong, do not make it go against what your question is asking for. I tried to recall as much as I could. I failed, and then I started inputting details from export, but import ke language mein. Once I was out, I actually started crying because it had been indeed a terrible day. First of all, the mess whichever happened while entering the exam center, and then suddenly realizing that I have got my periods while writing my first board exam, and then that question. And I have a proper crashing out. I start crying. I throw the question paper on the road, and yeah, it was a horrible day. Panicking so much, I was crying so much. My parents were telling me, "You will get marks. You will get marks. You have written the correct things." Because thereafter I realized I had written the correct points, but I had also included, since I was in the pursuit of including whatever I could recall. So 1 or 2 points I had included from the export side, but I had written them as import. My mother was telling me, "You will get 99." If at all the teacher is lenient and they will consider everything, but if she still thinks that you have not you are not very sure about whatever you have written, then yeah, she might deduct 1 mark and you will get 99. But turns out that I really did get 99, but I made a mistake in an MCQ, and I didn't even know that I was making a mistake in that MCQ because I thought I was right about it. The lessons which we get from my story is that, first of all, please navigate your exam center, and then do not carry on transparent items. Do not carry a still bottle, and finish your revision. Try to finish your revision, final revision, at least 1 hour before you get into the exam center, and do not rely upon the very last minute. Then the tricks, as I told you, for the MCQ, if you're not sure, so yeah, do write the alternative option which you have confusion in, but yeah, the way how I told. And in case of the long questions, if you cannot recall anything, whatever you can recall regarding the term which is given, the keyword which is given, sab kuch hi likh do. That is the only way out. So all the best for your exams. And if you have any query, feel free to get in touch with me. My email ID will be mentioned in the description box given below. And you can do it, and you will. I know revision at this point can get very, very tedious, given that you have been studying the same thing for over a year now. But repetitive revision right now is the only way out. There is no way how you can get past this. And the more you revise, the more you will come across newer information. Every time you revise, you will be like, yeah, I didn't know this thing, but you do realize that. Assess your weak portions from each and every chapter and do those repeatedly. Analyzing the PYQs and sample question papers must be done in such a way that whichever question you come across, you prepare a structure for that. Even if you are not writing and practicing every answer, because I know how tiresome that feels. So at least prepare the structure of that answer, that yeah, in my introduction I'll put this, in my presentation I'll put this, in my conclusion this. Yeah, that's all for this video. All the best. With love, Devosh Mehta.